little bit about your game. How long have you been playing?
Well, I've been playing about a year and a half.
Okay.
I love it tremendously. It's probably one of the biggest passions in my life right now, and so I practice like almost every day.
Oh, nice. Good.
Every bit of my game needs improvement.
Okay.
So I'm just anywhere. I know short game is probably the most
Okay.
important.
Which I think we'll work on that today for sure. That'll be great. It is an important part of the game, and it's unfortunately a part of the game that a lot of golfers neglect to practice.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as fun sometimes to do this as it is to stand out there and see how far you can hit it. But it's an important part for sure. So okay, so about a year and a half. Do you have your handicap
No.
established? What's your do you keep score?
Yeah, I do.
What do you shoot in the 18 holes?
Mid 80s.
Okay.
The back tee is high 80s.
Okay. From the back, from the black tees or
Yeah.
blue tees, whatever. Okay. All right. So in a year and a half, that's pretty good to be. A lot of people play their whole life and don't get into the 80s.
Yeah, well, I practice a lot. So.
How many times a week are you practicing?
At least 5.
Okay.
At least 5.
Okay. Are you aspiring to do something with the game, or you just really enjoy it?
Well, I don't know. It's just so. I guess just what I've read about chasing perfection. You're always chasing perfection. I just really want to play at a high level. I don't. It's not like I think I'm going to get on any sort of tour or anything, but I just want to be really good at it. It's something. I don't like to be mediocre at something. I've been mediocre at things before, and I just don't get what I really want out of it. So.
Sure. Okay. So we're trying to. Do you have a handicap in mind, or target score?
Ultimately, I'd like to be scratch.
Okay. Okay.
That's a lot further down the road, but that's.
Achievable. It sounds like you're a hard worker. So, what do you do for a living?
I own jiu-jitsu schools, Brazilian jiu-jitsu schools.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I instruct a little bit, but I concentrate most on the management side.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice. And then I was just noticing your shirt. Were you a wrestler?
Yeah, I wrestled at Adams State.
Oh, nice. Cold country.
Yeah.
All right. So has this jiu-jitsu thing, is this something that you've done for a while?
Yeah, I've been doing it since 2003. I got into it because as being a wrestler out of college, there's not any options really to stick with it unless you get into coaching wrestling. I wasn't really interested in, I kind of saw myself as a coach for wrestling, but I still wanted to compete. And so jiu-jitsu offered me that to be able to compete and learn, and it has a lot of the same benefits physically. So
Good.
that's kind of how I segued into it.
Must be kind of fun. So tell me, you look like you're in good shape. Do you have any physical limitations, any injuries?
I've got some hip issues.
Okay.
My right hip. So
Right hip.
like in golf, it doesn't really give me that extension. And
Rotation.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think my swings, not as wide as it could be.
Okay.
I don't get a big.
Are you doing anything for that?
Yeah, I do.
Treating it?
Yeah, there's no pain or anything. It's just limitations as far as mobility.
Okay.
So I do a lot of like foam rolling and PVC rolling on it. A lot of stretching.
Okay.
Keep it as limber as I can.
But you're not. It doesn't hurt when you play golf.
No,
That
no.
doesn't hurt
And
to
it
swing
did.
or-
It did for a time, and that golf was kind of my motivation to get it fixed because I was having trouble finishing round because it was hurting. So I, started doing a lot of rehab for it.
Okay. But it's feeling better.
Yeah, it feels good.
Okay. Do you stretch out before you play?
Yeah, I do.
Do you do that at the golf course, or do you do it at home? Or?
I'll do it both at home, and then when I get here, I do a few things.
What do you do for stretching?
When I get here, it's usually this one here. I'll pull this back right here, and then I'll hold it for a while, and then I'll do it on the same side there. Then I'll just do a lot of turns with the club and rolling out my shoulders, and, and then just
Do you do anything? Do you do anything for the lower body, for the hips?
At home I do, but not on the.
But not on the course.
Yeah, usually I'll roll, and then I'll roll my quads and my hips and do some where I can lay down at home, and then some standing squats and some.
Okay. So one thing you might, I mean, it's pretty basic, but this is a pretty good one for just kind of getting into, the hip flexors and just kind of getting the blood flowing a little bit, just maybe before you start your practice. That, and then, I'm gonna pop on that side.
Yeah, I feel it.
You felt it? Yeah. So that's a good one. And then you can take it back. But, especially in the wintertime, we're so injury prone when it's colder too. I mean, I know you know all of that, but just a little bit of something right before you go out. I know you do it before you come out to the course, but we can get tight pretty quick if we're not careful. So, and then I just like to do a little bit of ankle pullbacks. I don't know. I hold all my tension in my neck, so I always pay a little bit of attention to my neck. I don't know if you have bad neck or not, but just some gentle rolls. Sounds like you're doing quite a bit for your upper body and for your rotation, upper body wise. With your stretches before you warm up. But just make sure you give a little bit of attention to, especially those areas that are a little bit tighter, but you already have those limitations and so forth. So, what about your golf clubs? Did you have these custom fit for you?
Kinda. I mean,
Okay.
I got fitted for my driver, but these were pretty much standard.
Okay. So you've never gone through like a custom fitting for clubs then?
No.
Okay.
I mean, Wright's gone through with me some stuff.
Okay.
That's about it.
Okay. So you got stuff in there. Okay. So he's kind of taking a look. He knows what you're hitting. These look pretty standard. I mean, and you're pretty average in terms of height and everything. At some point, I'm sure if you decide to stick with this, and it sounds like you're going to stick with it, but it might be worth just going through a whole fitting with somebody and just making sure that your lie angles and everything are where they should be, because that can really can make a difference.
What do you think about my swing developing?
Mm-hmm.
Does it matter what stage I get fitted, or should it be more when I'm kind of? Because I still feel like a lot of things are changing in my swing.
You still feel like, because you're taking some lessons.
Yeah.
Currently, with a pro. Yeah, I mean, it might be worth waiting a little bit longer if you feel like it's you're gonna still change.
Is the fitting more based on my body type or the swing?
A little bit of both. Yeah, I mean, ideally we'd want to fit you to what your swing is going to be, instead of fitting you and making some adjustments from there. But maybe look at doing it this spring or whatever, and just see it. And the thing about it too is you could always have them adjusted, and then go back and have them readjusted. Those line angles and everything can be modified at any point. So, but it might just be interesting. You can. A lot of the local clubs and stuff courses will have fitting days and things like that, and they'll be happy to just kind of check it and just make sure that you're in line stuff. So, well, good. So let's do this. Let's talk just a little bit about your goals. I know it sounds like long term. I know that you're looking at maybe trying to achieve that par score, trying to be a scratch golfer. But in terms of like here in the next 20 minutes or so, is there something in particular that you want to work on, a goal? Have you thought about your goals?
Yeah, I'd like to
short term.
Get more consistent around the greens with my wedges that have my higher degree wedges.
Okay. So higher degrees. What do we carry?
Well, even I carry. I'm kind of weird gaps because I just got used to playing with them.
Okay.
Like a 52 and a 60.
And a 60, and then you've got your pitching wedge.
This is actually a 50, but I don't use it around the green.
You don't. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're using primarily the 52
three
and the 60
around
on the wedge.
greens.
Okay.
Yeah,
So we do have a little bit of a gap, right,
Yeah.
in between the 60 and the 52. Might be worth at some point putting something in between those two clubs. This is going to hit the ball fairly high, not so high here, but so that might be, maybe pick up a 56 at some point. Might be good. And you may not even, if you're not using that guy.
But
maybe.
I use this one for like 115 targets.
Okay.
And and so this is like a 130 club. So
Okay.
so if that wasn't there, there'd be a gap with
Then
my,
there would be, yeah.
yeah, but around the green.
How many do we have in here right now?
There's I think whatever the limit is.
13.
15's on
14. 14.
Yeah,
I didn't
there
think
should
about
be
that. Wait, I
14.
was right. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, yeah, so we'd have to probably pull something out to go that direction.
Which I'd like to. I mean, if I could get some better distance with these with my irons, I'd get rid of that one and then carry a.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, and that might be, like I said, maybe going through a fitting too. There could be some adjustments made within your wedge setup here too, to make that, you know. And if we think this is around, that's around 48, I believe. This is 50. So you got a 50 and a 52. So it may be just getting something a little higher lofted here, taking the 52
That makes
out,
sense.
and then maybe putting in the 55 or 56 in here would probably be the way to go. So. But okay, so in terms of, you know, a short-term goal for today, I know you said you want to maybe work on. Do you want to work primarily with the 60 and the 52
Sure.
to some to try to hit? Is it the higher lofted
Yeah.
shots that you're struggling with
Yeah.
when you have a shorter distance?
Exactly. When it's closer to the green.
Okay.
Or closer to the edge of the fringe.
Okay, so for instance, we've got I put a couple extra targets out there. So when you're hitting to a pin that's closer,
Yeah. This
Okay.
one would be.
so don't struggle so much with maybe the longer shots when you can hit the lower
Well,
lofted
everything's a struggle, but.
okay. But for today, if we could get you hitting. So let's just look at this shot, for instance. I mean, we're looking let's take a look at this, at the yellow bucket there. I mean, if you're looking at that, out of 10 shots, how many shots are you getting maybe on the green from here? Getting them on the green, or are we missing the green entirely, or are we just not getting them close?
I'm just not getting them close.
Not getting them close,
I'm
okay.
pretty good at getting it on the green. It's just I'm going to be left with a lot to.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, this shot looks. From here, it looks a lot worse than the shot to the.
But to the pin,
the
right?
pin,
Because you've got a little bit more distance to work with, right? So here, yeah, you don't have a whole lot of green, so it's a little bit more intimidating. Okay, so how many, if you were going to hit the shot 10 times, how many are you going to have within, say, 10 feet?
Within 10 feet, I think I could probably get. Oh, I could probably get 5 within 10 feet.
Really?
I
5?
think.
Okay, so about 50%? About half of them?
I hope.
Okay. Okay. So with that being said, what would be a realistic goal if we're getting half of them within 10 feet?
Yeah, it's hard for me to say. I don't.
Maybe 7?
Yeah, if I can get them. I mean, yeah, that'd be good. 7.
Or maybe you know, that we want to get the ball a little bit closer. Maybe we're looking, you know, maybe
Exactly. If I
we
could
stay
get.
within 5 feet.
Yeah, if I could get 7 within 5 feet, that'd be great.
You'd be happy with that?
Yeah.
Okay. How many do you think right now with the skills that you have, how many would you get within 5 feet at this current time?
I don't know. We have to see.
Couple maybe?
Yeah,
I mean, 5
think
feet
so.
is, you know,
Yeah.
pretty close. I mean, we're looking probably. Here.
It's inside 5 feet, probably about 4,
Okay.
3 or 4.
Okay. So 3 or 4. So
Seems like
maybe-
sometimes I get a rhythm going after I get a rhythm, and I find that, like, you know, then I can get them pretty close. But
Sure.
yeah, that's.
Okay. All right. So maybe we'll shoot for 6, 5 to 6,
Let's go 7.
7.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So when you're practicing, you always want to make sure you're monitoring these things and keeping track, right? So then that way when you come back out the next time, and you're a competitive person, it sounds like. So, you know, setting some goals for yourself so that you can maybe attain that next, you know, maybe one day you come out and get 5. Well, then maybe the next time let's go for 6, right? And try to up it every single time, and be and then challenge yourself a little bit. So okay, so this is your 60. So you want to start with that?
Sure.
I mean, I feel like that's that's the club that you should be hitting from here. I'm just going to watch you hit 4 or 5, okay? I'm not ignoring you. I just want to kind of get a feel for where you're at, and then I'll give you some feedback. Okay. What's the first thing that you notice when you hit a shot? If it's a good shot?
The sound?
The sound of it?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Or kind of where, yeah.
Has a different sound when it's solid?
Yeah, where I can kind of tell where on the club face it hit.
Mm-hmm.
Because that one felt like it hit a little bit outside.
A little bit on the toe?
Yeah. Was that right, you think?
Yeah, I think so. Do you know what your learning style is? Have you ever identified if you're a visual learner, or do you learn more through movement? Or are you more of an auditory, just spoken words? Or do you like to model after somebody? Do you like to look at pictures? Do you ever watch Golf Channel?
Yeah, I watch a ton of videos and, I like drills. That I don't know if that's little drills that, okay, do this little drill and it's going to help that happen.
Sure.
You know, those seem to help me the most.
Seem to be able to feel that, those various positions and so forth. Okay.
I think
That happens sometimes.
yeah,
And then when the grass and the lies tend to get a little bit
tight.
tight, right? Okay.
Here we go.
That happens sometimes?
Mhm.
Freeze on there. Okay. One more and then. Pretty good there, huh? You made
Yeah.
it! Oh!
Mhm.
Okay. Well, first of all, I mean, you have good hands. And
Yeah.
you look like you look like you've got some creativity. So we had a couple of mixes, right? We had a couple thin ones and then one kind of fat. I think we want to just maybe look at your setup for
Okay.
one. I feel like you have a tendency to get your upper body maybe leaning a little bit too far behind the golf ball here. Okay. So what happens when you do that is you'll either hit the ground first because your sternum is too far behind the golf ball, or you'll still hit the ground first, but then you'll catch the ball kind of on the upswing. So those are the ones that you kind of hit thin, okay? But when they hit fat, you just hit the ground and it kind of bounced into it. So I think one of the things we can do is try to get your sternum a little more ahead of the ball. So let me see if I can show you kind of what I'm talking about. So I like your narrow stance. I think that's good. But I feel like if we could get this just a little bit ahead of the ball, okay?
Okay.
Your weight looks like it's pretty forward, but then you look like your chest kind of leans back. So then the tendency, like I said, is the tendency for this to happen, right? To kind of bottom out, catch it on the upswing, and then we hit it down in here, and then we blade it. Okay, so getting just a little bit, the chest just a little bit more forward will hopefully help us to catch the golf ball first, right? We're trying to eliminate a lot of grass between the club face and the ball, right? We're trying to catch the ball first. And so just simple things like setup can help us eliminate some of those little inconsistencies that can pop up. So let's see,
So
does
it's
that
just-
make sense?
Yeah, it does.
So your
Because
sternum,
I'm supposed to keep it level with the.
right,
Okay.
with the slope.
Yeah.
Yep.
How does that look?
Yeah, that's better. Check your shoulders. honestly, on this shot here, you almost have to hit it short, don't you? You almost
Yeah.
have to bounce it through there. I think if you actually get landed on the surface, it's going to roll out too far. So that's pretty good. Good. So now that sternum is a little bit ahead of the ball, right? Instead of back in here. Can you tell the difference?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of looking at this little thing on your zipper, and it's flowing here, right? Which should, like
That's
I
where
said,
it should.
help you. Yeah. Pretty creative. Okay, so we've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We got 10 balls out there. We've got, what do you think? 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe within
Yeah.
3, maybe within the within our 5-foot radius, right?
Yeah.
A couple more just beyond it. I mean, do you keep track of your up and downs? Do you know how many up and downs out of?
I don't record them.
Okay. That might be something you should start doing on the golf course. That'll start to tell you a little bit about your game, right? You know, and maybe, you know, set some goals there too. You know, maybe you're up and down. I don't know how many greens you're hitting, so we'd have to kind of figure that out. Do you know how many greens you're hitting in regulation?
Well, yeah, it's definitely a lot more when I play the forward tees, but or the white tees, but yeah, I don't really keep track of that. I was keeping track and then trying to base that off of my practice, but I try and practice just, you know, as much as I possibly can, so it,
Right. So you're not
yeah,
spending as much time on the golf course.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay.
I only play like once or twice a week.
Okay. Just spending a lot of time out here. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, you know, that's something to just kind of looking into the future. You know, start keeping track of those up and
Numbers.
downs and see where you're at. Yeah, it'll really
And so,
to see if you're making progress, right?
okay.
And then like what we were doing today, you know, pick some different shots to different pins, but start tracking.
On the number 1 tee box,
Start
be the
tracking
Hopkins
to see
on deck,
how
the right
many,
group.
you know, what your up and down percentage is even out here, right? And right now we're sitting at probably, just based on these 10 balls, you know, yeah, somewhere in that 30% range. So I think realistically, you know, getting you up into that, you know, 50 to 60%.
How should I allocate my practice time if I'm going to hit 200 balls? How many should be on the range?
You're gonna hit
short?
200 balls. I mean, I feel like you should spend at least half of your time here.
100 balls here, 100 balls there.
Yeah, I really do, because, you know, without actually seeing you hit balls, I don't know where your swing is at this point, but
Yeah.
I just feel like if your goal is to get that score down to, you know, that 72 range, it's going to be really, you know, having a really good short game, because you're not going to always hit the ball perfect, right? Even
Yeah.
the best ball strikers. But if you have a good short game and you're practicing productively and you're hitting a lot of different shots, you have a lot of options out here, which is nice, right? You can really move around this green and create a lot of different scenarios for yourself, right? And so you want to make sure you're, you know, yeah, I would say at least, you know, 50%, if not more. Yeah, for sure. All right, so again, let's make sure that sternum is forward. Well, the pin stopped it.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the height of that ball coming off the face?
It looks low.
A little bit low.
Yeah.
Your club face is slightly shut, okay?
Okay.
So if you open that face up just a little bit, and we still want to, you know, check our alignment, okay? So now we might be just slightly to the right. There you go. Okay, so we want that club face here, right? Where before, just,
Just like-
yeah, that you're kind of taking the loft off when you do that. There you go. Let your shoulders kind of match your hips. Don't be quite as close with your shoulders. There you go. Okay, so your hips are open, right? Go ahead and let your shoulders then follow the hips. You want to stay open. Okay. Let me swivel this just a touch. There you go. All right, keep that chest forward though. Good. Okay. Came off a little different, didn't it?
Yeah, I like
Came off
that.
the face. Yeah, and that was just changing that face angle slightly, right? The face being a little bit more open, you'll activate the bounce, and then you'll create a little bit more height. face open, the ball's not going to fly quite as far, right? It's going to fly higher, but maybe not quite as far, so it might be a little bit bigger backswing. Okay, so again, chest is forward, open that face just a little bit more. Good. There you go. Okay, so it comes off the face and it has more spin. That's
Yeah.
pretty. Really good there. Nice. Right there. So we want to see a little bit more exposure when you're looking down here. A little bit more of the face, right? And then we want to be really mindful of the bottom edge of the club, making sure that that's aiming at our target, right? So if we go here, you can tell there, we're starting to get a little closed and a little shut, right? Good. All right. Okay. Okay. Fell back just a little bit, okay? So that's when you get here, okay? And instead of rotating through and staying here, right, you went, and that, I've seen you do that a couple of times, so make sure that that weight stays forward and that sternum stays forward and you don't rock back into your right side because you don't want to put in the belly. All right, so right there. There you go. Solid. You flew it just a tiny bit too far, but better, much better. Well, good. Any questions?
No, that was great.
Helpful?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
really helpful. Thanks
Good.
a lot.
Well, like I said, just make sure you're making this practice time productive. Pick some piles, get some different shots out here. Start tracking your up and downs, and I think you're going to do it. So I don't think it's going to take you near as long as you think it might. So good luck. I hope to see you
Thanks
again
a lot.
soon. Thanks. Okay. Bye bye.